What kind of religiosity are you having? Is it the healthy kind, or is it the religiosity of the sick soul? Your religiosity depends on your personality. There is a general factor of personality which is called stability. Stability is awareness, freedom, and flexibility. Absence of stability or instability can take two directions. One is withdrawal, the other is aggressiveness. Depending on what type of instability you are having, you will have two different types of religiosity. So if you want to alter your religiosity, you have to change your basic personality. An individual's personality is the degree to which he is stable or unstable, and if he is unstable, whether he is having the inertia type of abnormality or activation type of instability. What is true of an individual is also true of a group or a community. If a community consists of aggressive people, they will have religiosity which is characterized by aggressiveness. They will have very aggressive gods. On the other hand, if they have too much of inertia, their religiosity will be of that kind. In a stable society where most people are having a high degree of stability, they will have religion of the healthy-minded variety. Stability is also absence of ego or self-centeredness. Ego is self-importance, and as creatures, as organisms with a certain degree of identification with the particular self, we all have ego, but to different degrees. We see the world through the colored glass of the ego. We come face to face with reality when ego is zero or near zero. So long as we are having some degree of self-importance, to that extent we see the external world as distorted. And similarly, our concept of reality or our concept of God will also be to that extent. That is, to the extent to which we have this self-importance, our concept of God also will be distorted. Now, if you walk along with tribals or primitive groups of people in the forest, you will notice very interesting things. The headman sees a new kind of stone or a piece of stone. He picks it up, and his disciples ask him, "What is this?" Then he declares that this is a god. He gives it a name. And then that stone is brought and installed, and the headman or the Mandravadin declares that this is a god. And then they start making offerings, making sacrifices. And then the headman announces certain moral principles You should not wander more than 10 kilometers outside this spot. If you go more than 10 kilometers away, this God will be angry. So you will be excommunicated if you go more than 10 kilometers from this spot. So he prescribes rules of conduct which everybody has to follow. And social control is effected through this God. You should not have illicit sex. You should get married. You should have sex only with your wife. You should look after your parents when they are very old. If you don't look after them, this God will be angry and he will punish you. So every year there will be a festival, and during the festival the headman or Mandravadan will announce that last year we had a drought, or we were not successful in hunt because during the last festival time you didn't propitiate the God adequately. So you should have sacrificed more chicken, or you should have sacrificed more goats. So if you commit something against the moral code of this God, you will be punished, and you have to compensate by making additional sacrifice, so on and so forth. So you realize how the God is invented and used for stability of the group. Now the kind of God depends on the personality of the people. If you are a very egoistic person, you will want attention from other people. So you think that your God also can be pleased by giving more attention. If you like to get bribes, you think that the God also can be bribed. If you like praise, you think that the God also can be made to give favors if he is praised. So you don't realize that all this is your projection. But when you are highly stable and your ego level is very low, then you see God as consciousness. God is neither important nor unimportant. God does not need to be praised. God is not moved by bribes. God is not moved by flattery. All these you don't have to reason out. You spontaneously realize when you do not have the ego. So there is not much point in you are deciding, okay, I will have a proper conception of reality. No. If you are having an unstable personality or a personality characterized by too much inertia or activation, your mind will not permit you to have the right conception of reality. So your personality is very important in determining the kind of religiosity you will be having. However, you can understand different groups of people in terms of the kind of religiosity they are having. God is actually a personification of the spirit of the people. So very aggressive people or warring communities will have a God who is very aggressive. A very peaceful group of people will have a God which is also very peaceful. And also the God is a center around which the community revolves. Their group identification depends on the rituals and ceremonies associated with worship of that particular God. So God is really a projection of the personality of an individual as well as a group.